This isn't your average Robin Hood story. It's a wild parody packed with hidden truths and behind-the-scenes chaos. From unexpected casting secrets to musical mayhem, these facts will change how you see this cult comedy forever. Fact 1.
And arise, Sir Robin of Lockley.
Carrie Elwes nailed the role of Robin Hood, but he wasn't Mel Brooks' original pick. The studio initially wanted a bigger box office name. Names like Tom Cruise and even Charlie Sheen were floated in early conversations. Brooks, however, wanted someone who could parody Errol Flynn's classic style. Elwes had just starred in The Princess Bride, and Brooks saw the perfect blend of charm and comedy. When Elwes read the script, he reportedly laughed so hard he immediately agreed to join. He even mimicked his own Princess Bride performance in a few scenes, on purpose. Mel Brooks later said Elwes brought exactly the right mix of arrogance and idiocy. The director felt that was essential for the spoof to work. Elwes also performed many of his own stunts, which surprised the crew. He was trained in fencing and horseback riding, adding a layer of authenticity to the parody. That allowed the film to play both as a comedy and a swashbuckler. His chemistry with the rest of the cast was instant. On set, he was known for making people break character from laughing. Even Brooks admitted he had to redo takes because he couldn't stop giggling. Elwes' performance helped anchor the absurdity. He walked the perfect line between parody and sincerity. The result was one of the most iconic comedic Robin Hoods ever. And yes, he really did say, "Unlike some other Robin Hoods, I can speak with an English accent."
Unlike some other Robin Hoods, I can speak with an English accent.
That line wasn't just a joke, it was a dig at Kevin Costner. The crew reportedly burst into applause after the first take of that scene. Elwes' casting may not have been the first idea, but it was definitely the right one.
I accept.
Fact 2.
Is it not also illegal to sit on the king's throne and usurp his power in his absence?
Believe it or not, Mel Brooks wasn't originally supposed to direct Men in Tights. The film was first conceived as a made-for-TV parody. Brooks pitched it to Fox as part of a sketch show concept. But the network passed, saying it was too weird for TV. Brooks then decided to turn it into a full-length feature. Even then, the studio hesitated to let him direct. They feared he was too old school for early 90s audiences. Brooks pushed back and said, "It's my kind of weird. You don't get this movie without me." Eventually, he won the battle and secured his seat in the director's chair. This gave him full control over the film's tone, pacing, and style. He even played 2 roles in the movie himself, Rabbi Tuckman and the Village Man. Brooks brought in his longtime collaborators for writing and music. He rewrote much of the original script, injecting his signature brand of parody. The result was a mix of slapstick, satire, and musical farce. Without Brooks directing, the film likely would have lacked its bizarre charm. He made last-minute changes to entire scenes, sometimes the night before filming. His on-the-spot rewrites included iconic moments like the chastity belt joke. He also handpicked many of the gags to mock other Hollywood tropes. Brooks even fought for a higher costume budget just to make it look more ridiculous. He knew the sillier the visuals, the better the contrast with the story. His determination turned a risky parody into a cult classic. And in true Mel Brooks fashion, he made sure the jokes kept flying until the final frame.
Who have traveled from villages near and far. That's disgusting.
Fact 3.
Your back just got punched twice.
Thank you.
Yes, Men in Tights was Dave Chappelle's big screen debut. He was just 19 years old when he landed the role of Achu. Chappelle had been doing stand-up in New York for only a short time. A casting agent spotted him at a comedy club and suggested him to Brooks. Brooks was intrigued by his timing and energy. After a brief audition, Chappelle was cast immediately. Brooks said, "He had the rhythm of a seasoned comic and the fearlessness of youth." Chappelle's performance was praised for its natural charisma. He improvised many of his lines, including the classic, "Let's get out of this suit." That kind of spontaneous comedy fit perfectly with Brooks's directing style. Chappelle said the experience changed his entire perspective on acting. He was thrown into a professional set with big-name actors. He had to learn quickly, and he did. His comedic instincts helped him stand out in nearly every scene. Brooks later said he discovered a star in that role. Chappelle went on to cite Men in Tights as a career-launching moment. He also said he felt proud to be part of a film that poked fun at racial stereotypes. The name Achu was his own idea, as a play on his character's father, Ace Sneeze. That kind of playful wordplay was a perfect fit for the film's tone. Chappelle never expected the film to become a cult classic, but fans still approach him about it to this day. And it all started with one outrageous role in a Robin Hood spoof.
Sherwood Forest landed on us.
Fact 4. The famous Everlast chastity belt worn by Maid Marian wasn't just a prop, it was fully functional. The design team modeled it after real medieval chastity belts for comedic effect. They used actual metal and leather, not just foam or plastic. Actress Amy Yasbeck revealed in interviews that it was heavy and awkward to move in. She needed help getting in and out between takes. The belt had to be custom fitted to avoid bruising during action scenes. Multiple versions were created, one for standing, one for sitting, and one for close-ups. Some versions even had hidden hinges for emergency exits. Mel Brooks personally approved every belt gag in the script. He wanted to parody purity culture while being as absurd as possible. The key scene where the lock gets stuck, totally unscripted. It was a happy accident that made everyone on set burst into laughter. Brooks kept it in the final cut without hesitation. The sound effects were added in post to enhance the ridiculousness. Yasbeck admitted it was difficult to keep a straight face. The crew called the belt the real villain of the film. It even had its own storage box labeled Maid Marian's Doom. Fans still bring up the belt at conventions and signings. It became one of the most iconic images from the film. Brooks later said, "Only in comedy can you weaponize celibacy." The belt was auctioned off years later and fetched over $3,000. A painful prop, but a legendary punchline. And definitely one of the most bizarre costume pieces in movie history.
A chastity belt?
Oh, that's going to chafe my willy.
Fact 5.
Blinking, fix your boobs. Oh, you look like a bleeding Picasso.
Most fans know it spoofed Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, but it goes deeper than that. Men in Tights is actually a layered parody of multiple Robin Hood adaptations. It pokes fun at the 1938 Errol Flynn version and the Kevin Costner film from 1991. Even earlier silent film tropes are mocked throughout the movie. Mel Brooks wanted to parody how every Robin Hood is a parody of itself. That's why the characters seem self-aware and often break the fourth wall. The film's musical numbers are a send-up of both Disney's Robin Hood and on Broadway. The Men in Tights dance number mimics medieval pageantry and boy band choreo. The archery tournament scene riffs on Prince of Thieves almost shot for shot. Costumes were deliberately exaggerated to seem like cosplay versions of older films. The Sheriff of Rottingham's voice and mannerisms parody 1940s villains.
He just beat the crap out of me and my men.
Even the map transitions mock old adventure serials. Every time a horse rears up dramatically, it's mocking Hollywood tropes. The slow-motion moments are a direct jab at Braveheart-style epics, even though that film came later. Brooks was always ahead of his time when it came to satire. He even joked, "This film parodies Robin Hood movies that haven't even been made yet." The castle exteriors are recycled from older film sets. It's satire within slapstick. And somehow it still works as a story. That level of parody sophistication is why it remains rewatchable. You'll catch a new reference almost every time. It's not just a spoof, it's a spoof of spoofs.
Excuse me, bad guys. I am running out of air. Gotta get pumped.
Fact 6.
Maybe if you tell me the bad news in a good way, it won't sound so bad.
Comedian Richard Lewis played Prince John with manic energy, but few knew he was battling severe pain. During filming, he was recovering from spinal surgery. He had ruptured discs and was wearing a hidden back brace in most scenes. Many of his robes and costumes were designed to disguise medical gear. Despite the pain, he insisted on doing all his scenes standing. He refused to let Mel Brooks alter the shooting schedule for him. Brooks called him a warrior with a punchline. Lewis often used humor to cope with the discomfort. He even joked about it in interviews, saying, "It was the only time my spine was straighter than my lines." Crew members remember him needing ice packs between takes. His performance was so energetic that viewers had no idea he was in agony. He credited the adrenaline of comedy with helping him power through. Lewis also had a personal nurse on set during long days. He still delivered rapid-fire lines with perfect timing. The slapstick nature of the role made it even harder physically. He was especially proud of the scene where he gets slapped by his servant. That moment took several takes and caused serious back strain. But Lewis wouldn't quit until the comedic timing was perfect. Brooks later said, "He gave us royalty-level commitment to nonsense." Despite the injury, it's one of Lewis's most beloved roles. It proved that pain can't stop pure comedic talent, and it made his over-the-top delivery even more heroic in hindsight.
A little privacy so you guys can blow. Not blow. Blow.
Fact 7.
Lincoln, I'd like you to meet Achu.
A Jew? Yeah?
Believe it or not, a sequel to Men in Tights was seriously considered. After the film gained cult status on home video, Brooks explored new ideas. The working title was Robin Hood Back in Pants. It would have focused on the gang trying to reclaim the forest from developers. Modern satire mixed with medieval tropes was the plan. Brooks wanted to parody Hollywood sequels, environmentalism, and 90s trends. Elwes, Chappelle, and Yazbek were all open to returning. Even Richard Lewis said he'd do it in a heartbeat, spine brace or not. Scripts were drafted and table reads occurred in private. The plan was to make it even more musical and absurd. But studio interest fizzled as new executives took over. Comedy trends shifted toward edgier, darker material. Brooks felt the timing wasn't right anymore. He also didn't want to make a sequel just for the money. "If the jokes aren't fresh," he said, "it's just Men in Pants, not Men in Tights." He shelved the project but kept the rights. Rumors of a sequel have resurfaced every few years. Some fans have even created mock posters and trailers. In 2020, a reboot was briefly discussed as a streaming series. So far, nothing has materialized. But Brooks has said, if the tights still fit, who knows? It's the sequel that almost was, and still might be.
And you changed it to the train?
Yeah, used to be shithouse.
It's a good change.
Fact 8.
John and the sheriff, they was running the show, raising the taxes because they needed the dough.
The opening rap song, now a fan favorite, nearly didn't make it into the final film. Studio execs were worried it would confuse audiences. They felt it was too modern and urban for a medieval setting. Brooks had to fight hard to keep it in. He believed it was the perfect way to set the tone. The lyrics were written by Brooks and his musical collaborator, Hummy Man. They intentionally made the song sound like a mix between Run DMC and minstrel ballads. Choreography was done by Broadway-trained dancers in tights. The result was a hilarious anachronism that still works today. The actors rehearsed the number for weeks, despite most having no dance experience. It was shot in one long day in a freezing outdoor location. Brooks even appears briefly in the crowd, clapping offbeat. The song has since gained a cult following. Fans have uploaded remixes and covers online for years. Elwes once performed part of it live at a Comic-Con. The cast says it's the one scene everyone remembers first. It set the stage for the film's chaotic tone. Without it, the whole movie would have felt different. In hindsight, it was one of the smartest creative risks Brooks took. The studio eventually admitted they were wrong to doubt it. Now it's iconic. A medieval rap that opened a comedy classic.
We're men in tights. We roam around the forest looking.
Fact 9.
I'm on the West Bank. It is not that critical.
During the castle scenes, the film crew faced an unexpected problem: the Moat. It was a real water-filled trench around a rented estate. The crew used it for exterior shots of the villain's castle. One day, a camera operator slipped and fell into it, along with the camera. The muddy bottom created a suction effect, trapping his legs. It took 4 people to pull him out. The camera was water damaged but salvageable. The shot was later reshot using a crane to avoid more accidents. The incident became a running joke on set. Mel Brooks joked, "We nearly lost a man to swamp comedy." The crew renamed the Moat Lake Slapstick. The operator received a mock Purple Heart at rap. The incident delayed production by almost a full day. Brooks insisted the story be included in the blooper reel, but it was ultimately cut. It's one of those behind-the-scenes moments fans rarely hear about, but it shows the chaos of filming a comedy on location. Everyone involved laughed about it afterward, once the operator was safe. The moat was drained for future shoots to prevent more accidents. Brooks said, "We expected pratfalls in front of the camera, not behind it." The crew even hung a sign near the water, "Beware the gag pit." It's a reminder that making comedy often involves real risk. Even medieval slapstick has modern hazards.
Who have traveled from villages near and far, lend me your ears.
Fact 10.
Because, unlike some other Robin Hoods, I can speak with an English accent.
While Men in Tights did modestly in the US, it was a big hit internationally. Countries like Germany, the UK, and Australia embraced the film with enthusiasm. In Germany, it was dubbed with intentionally bad translations for comedic effect. Some jokes were even rewritten to match local humor. The UK audience especially loved the jabs at British folklore. It became a cult hit on British television reruns. Australia included it in national school comedy units for analysis. In Japan, the film was subtitled rather than dubbed, preserving the original puns. Fans across Europe began quoting the film in English.
Maybe if you tell me the bad news in a good way, it won't sound so bad.
Merchandise was more widely sold overseas than in the US. The Men in Tights dance even inspired viral parodies years later. DVD sales in foreign markets were stronger than domestic ones. Mel Brooks was surprised by the global response. He joked, "Apparently tights are universal." International press praised the film's irreverent tone. Brooks began including more international flavor in later projects. The film is still broadcast annually in several countries. In France, it was shown in theaters during comedy retrospectives. Its cult legacy was largely built abroad. In some ways, the rest of the world got the joke faster than the US, and that's part of what made it a lasting global phenomenon.